3 strikes after being 2-0 down. Marouane Fellaini came on, made a big difference, and Nasser Chadli scored just a fantastic goal, or finished off rather a fantastic move. He tapped in ultimately, Chadli, but it was in the 94th minute. Belgium go through. Amazing scenes, exactly the kind of thing which could ignite this golden generation into doing something very special. If they are to do something very special, they will have to beat Brazil, which brings us very nicely to Tim Vickery, who's standing by. Hello, Tim.
Hello, very good evening to you.
How you doing? I presume you watched this game. Have you been watching this game in the last couple of minutes?
Oh, God, yeah. And I'm very glad that was a lovely way to spend 90 minutes, wasn't it, watching that one?
I mean, at 2-0 down, it looks done. How did Belgium turn it around? I'm kind of half presenting here and half watching.
Yeah, I mean, they made 2 substitutions and a little switch from their back 3 system that I really don't understand. I don't understand it. I wonder how they're going to set up against Brazil, because they just leave so much space. But anyway, they switch to a more orthodox back 4, and a little bit of luck and an aerial barrage. And to be honest, they could have scored. They could have scored 8 comfortably. Lukaku missed chances. Hazard rattled the post. There was a little bit of panic stations in the Japan defence. So for the tournament, we've got the right result, because you always want the best teams with the most creative possibilities to be there at the business end. And now we got Brazil against the golden generation, and we will see if your thing there is fired, and the golden generation are fired by this, or we will see if they can't defend against Brazil, because I tell you, if they defend as they did against Japan, Brazil will just go to town. There's space all over the place, and space behind the wing backs. They've got a right-footed player at left wing back. They just look so vulnerable, and you can, if you want to beat Brazil, the first thing you got to do is stop them. And that means blocking them somewhere. You can try and block them higher up the pitch, and that's been done and Mexico did it for a while. Mexico came out and really played for a while. In a 90 minutes that I suspect, Mr. Malloy, has given you some more ammunition for your anti-Neymar campaign.
I mean, there's no room left on the bandwagon for my anti-Neymar campaign. I'm full up. I'm full up. So it is Brazil-Belgium, by the way, next Friday at 3 o'clock, if everybody wants to try.
It's Europe versus South America Day, because or Western Europe versus South America Day, because it's France, Uruguay, and Belgium against Brazil.
Okay.
And bearing in mind that 5 of the last 6 World Cup finalists have come from Western Europe, stakes are high.
Yeah, so 3 o'clock is when that starts next Friday Irish time. If people want to start trying to skive off work already, it might be the best plan of action. So fewer dramatics, obviously, earlier on this afternoon. Brazil 2-0 winners over Mexico. Neymar scored the first on 51 minutes. Then Firmino scored the second on 88 minutes. Neymar was very much involved in that. There is the good and the bad of Neymar here. Like, I'm not blind to his good parts. 7 shots, created 5 chances. He was fouled 5 times, scored a goal. I guess a quasi-assist. It was saved and fell to Firmino before the bad. But there was plenty of good in there from Neymar. For people who didn't catch the game on the whole, Tim, how were Brazil?
Well, it was a terrific game. It was exactly what we needed after what I thought was a very dull Sunday. We had 2 sides trying to impose themselves on the other. And Mexico, the coach Osorio is very bold. He loves his 2 wingers and his central striker, and he left 3 up top, and Mexico came out to play, and with a better side for at least 25 minutes. They're all getting worried here in my family, and I'm telling them, I think it's all right, because I don't think they can keep it up. And they haven't scored. And sure enough, little by little, Brazil begin to find some flow. And the coach Osorio, of the Mexican coach, and he said beforehand, we cannot block Brazil in the final third of the field the way that we block Germany. They just have more. And they began to turn the screw at the start of the second half, and then came what for me is the decisive moment in the match. Because Mexico at this stage are not going to have very many chances. They have one on a counter-attack. It's on a counter, I think, after a Brazil corner. And it falls on, leading the charge is the Mexican left-back, Gallardo. He has a man over on the left edge of the penalty area. If you play that man in, he is close to goal with a shot on goal. Instead of which, Gallardo goes for the Hollywood curler, from 25. It goes wide, narrowly wide, but that was the opportunity that went begging. And then very soon afterwards, Brazil took the lead in a move that shows the best of Neymar, the moments when his individual talent is at the service of the collective, because it really is his goal. It's a crisscross move. He's coming across left to right with the ball. William, without the ball, is making the opposite movement. Neymar draws the entire defence. They're all it's like a fox hunt. They're all charging after him. And then Neymar back heels the ball into the space that he's just left for William's crisscross run.
Yeah.
So Neymar there has created the space. William, who was very lively after some ordinary performances earlier on in the tournament, it's William's cross shot. Williams kind of cross come shot, and Neymar there has followed up his work just to slide it in from close range. So it's a terrific goal. It's Brazil at their best. Making the ball fizz and making them move and playing at high tempo and high speed. Mexico did everything they could to haul their way back into the game. Personally, I don't really understand the cult of the same thing that you've got about Neymar, I've got about Chicharito. I even hate the nickname. Why can't he just be Hernandez, for crying out loud? And I don't quite understand him, and that they got rid of him. He hadn't done very much. Jimenez came on and gave them a target man, but they couldn't just win the headers that they had in the penalty area. Brazil held on. Brazil always had that threat, and towards the end of the game, a counter-attack made by Neymar and slipped in for Firmino to tap in from close range. Brazil, good value for their win, but pushed all the way by a very brave Mexico side.
Okay, so in broad terms then, are Brazil bubbling away very nicely? Like that first 20 minutes against Switzerland, culminating in the Coutinho goal, was certainly in the group stages their best 20 minutes. Not having really seen today, I hear everything you're saying. Like, is this a very positive performance? Are they in good shape now going into the Belgian game? Do they have everything nicely balanced? There's no major team selection issues or things to try and solve in time for Friday?
One little problem: Casemiro, the holding midfielder, is suspended, but Fernandinho will come in for him. It's pretty much like for like.
Yeah.
They've still got. I think it's a bit harsh, really, that the yellow cards still carry forward. Because if you pick up 2 yellow cards in 5 games, you're out of the semi-final. And they do have Neymar on a yellow. They have Coutinho on a yellow. You can't see Coutinho pick up too many yellows, but Neymar is always a candidate for picking up a yellow, and could have picked up one today in all of the shenanigans that went on. Yeah. But in terms of looking ahead to that game, you just mentioned the key word there, which is balance. If you look at the two sides, Brazil's balance, the balance between attack and defence, is so much better than Belgium's, and Belgium looks so defensively vulnerable. Brazil, another clean sheet. They've only conceded 1 in this tournament, and they're whinging and belly aching like mad about that one still. We're claiming it was a push there coming across from the corner. Dossier's been sent to FIFA and all the rest of it. But anyway, Brazil don't look like conceding. The goalkeeper hasn't had much to do yet. Belgium have more attacking potential, more creative potential than the sides that they've met so far, even more than Mexico, who with Lozano and Vela have a threat. Belgium carry more of a threat, but you just wonder how Belgium can neutralise Brazil's attacking talent.
Of the Neymar shenanigans, is he ever routinely asked, or at all in the Brazilian media, is he embarrassed afterwards, like in the cold light of day when the adrenaline's gone? Does he look back with some degree of embarrassment? It's
a question that you're not really allowed to put. No one really asks that to him. The coach is defending him. It was a big issue in the post-match press conferences.
Yeah. How would you describe what happened, I guess, for people who might not have seen it?
Well, Brazil were in the lead, so there was a lot of time wasting going on to protect that lead. And to be fair to the players, it was very, very hot. So it was one of those where you want to run as little as possible. Anyway, the ball went out for a throw-on there with Neymar. It was a throw-on to Mexico. And Neymar, while he's on the ground, he's kept the ball between his legs. Which is a silly thing to do, really. And obviously Mexico want to get on with it. So Layun there goes across and rips the ball off his hands. And as he do it, just takes advantage just to give him a little stamp on the ankle. And then you get...
Stamp is even a strong word, isn't it?
Yeah. I think
a gentle pressure.
Not a penny stamp. This was a half penny stamp at best. And then you get rolling and writhing all over the floor. It's as if he's just had an electric shock, you know.
Yeah.
And it is. absolutely ridiculous, absurd, ridiculous. No, I don't think anyone really ever plays it back to him and says, "Well, how'd you feel?" He, as we've spoken in the past, he's been indulged all the way along.
Yeah,
I do feel that the coach, certainly after the Costa Rica game, the coach is backing him to the hilt in public. I do feel that words have been spoken in private, because since the Costa Rica game, he's been better. There was just a little bit in that 5 or 10 minutes before this happened, you could tell it was kind of antics o'clock. It had started. He was starting to wind up the Mexicans. Brazil were winning, so you can taunt away, and you could just see it happening. And he's perhaps a little bit lucky, because he was stopping the ball going back in play by holding it. He's a little bit lucky that the referee didn't book both of them, and then he'd be out of the Belgium game.
Yeah, no, it was really outrageous. If he wins the World Cup, I'll be disgusted. I just can't.
You've only got 3 more games to go.
I know. I can't.
Three more games to go.
I really can't deal with him. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't believe it's been indulged to this extent. But anyway, Argentina go out then. It was a really amazing game, the French game. Just impossible to predict the way it ebbed and flowed, and there were just randomly phenomenal goals. There was no pattern to it in some respects, that France-Argentina game. It was just, what mad kind of piece of play is going to result in some mad goal next? I guess the only thing, Argentina certainly first 20 minutes were far too high, and Mbappe was kind of looking around, not quite able to believe his luck. But they got to grips with that a little bit as the match went on. It was a fantastic match. How has it been received in Argentina? Is there any sense of kind of, it's some way acceptable, we don't have a great team?
Yeah, and one of the headlines was, we're out with dignity.
Okay.
I think they knew. Yeah, I mean, if I was France, I would be furious that it was close.
Yeah.
And France should have won by 3 or 4. They should have had the game put to bed by the half-hour mark. But there's a tendency, the France side, I think we're looking towards now a France-Brazil semi-final, which will be very, very hard to pick. But France these days, they never look happy to me. They never look like a happy bunch. And there's a pose about them sometimes, and there certainly was there in that in when they could have put Argentina to bed, and then amazingly they found themselves 2-1 down. And how on earth that happened?
Well, I guess they were just such amazing goals.
Yeah. But Di Maria given acres of space for the first one. But Argentina are a shambles, and they can't defend. They're leaking goals all over the place. And Mbappe against that Argentina defence is almost cruelty to animals. If it was boxing, the referee would. Is that Argentina just got that third goal? There are 2 minutes left in stoppage time. And what does Otamendi do? He picks a fight. He picks a flare-up. You've got 2 minutes to save yourself. France might be rattled, and Otamendi goes picking a flare-up, picking a fight. You're thinking, what on earth are you doing, you idiot? But that is indicative of the shambles that Argentina have become.
Is that the end for Sampaoli now?
Don't know. He's on a fat contract, so he will try, and if he has to go, he'll try and take him for every dollar he can get. But public opinion in Argentina, I think, will be very, very highly against him for 2 reasons. I thought he was a surprising appointment a year ago. One, his idea of play is incompatible with the lack of pace that Argentina have. 2, they're talking about recovering their work at under 20 level. That's where Argentina have dropped off so badly, and him to oversee this project. But when he was in charge with Chile, he had no contact with the under-20s at all. He would barely even let them train on the main pitches. So he was always a strange choice to oversee that. So we'll have to see what happens now. And there are lots of conflicting reports coming out of Argentina saying the Argentina FA are really desperate to get rid of him. But how are they going to afford it? How are they going to? They're going to pay him off, and so watch this space. Plenty could happen.
Yeah, and what's the word on Messi? Is that pretty much his international career over?
Well, I think it's striking that he hasn't spoken, because when he retired from international football, which he did for about a month 2 years ago, he did it in the car park after the game.
Okay.
Heat of the moment.
Yeah.
No heat of the moment this time. Let's have a little think. Remember, Argentina don't have a competitive game for another year. There's for a Copa America, so I think there's every possibility that he'll take a break. Whether that break proves to be definitive, I think we'll have to wait and see. But for the time being, I think his priority is going to be Barcelona. And why would you want to do it? Why would you want to travel all that distance? Now, the Argentine FA will be desperate to keep him because they've got a year coming up of friendlies. And they charge money for these friendlies, and it's one price with Messi on the pitch and one price without him. So he'll come under pressure to stay. But I think he's as all the Argentine players, I don't think they're particularly happy with their FA anyway. Remember that they didn't go to Israel; they put their feet down and didn't go to Israel for a game, a World Cup warm-up. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if there's some kind of standoff while Messi decides if his absence from international football will be definitive or not.
Yeah. So before you go, as you know, England have masterminded the right side of the draw. They're pretty much dancing their way to a World Cup final. Plucky old Colombia tomorrow. Tim, stand in the way. What are Colombia going to throw at them tomorrow?
Well, I think so much depends on whether James Rodriguez is fit and ready to play. And he may play, but he may not be fit as he was. He played the first 30 minutes against Senegal, but he was an absolute passenger. With James, I make Colombia, if he's fit, which I'm inclined to doubt, I make Colombia narrow favourites because then they've got a front four. It's a front four that can punish England's back three. Falcao, if he's high up the pitch and has service, Falcao will find holes in the England back three and he'll pick up the rebounds that come from the goalkeeper. A Cuadrado, if you can bring him in the game behind England, either Ashley Young or Danny Rose, Cuadrado can cause problems. And then you've got Quintero and James together to make the ball fizz. The two of them together are a great partnership. The one time that we had the two of them together was against Poland, and that was Colombia's best performance since the last World Cup. If James isn't fit, then it's far, far easier for England to force Colombia back into their half. If you do that, Falcao isolated doesn't really offer anything. If you can keep Cuadrado back, then Colombia, they have these few players who can really hurt you with the ball, but plenty of players who can't. So keep them back, watch him on the set pieces, because that giant centre-back, Yerry Mina, is a real threat from set pieces. It would be interesting to see the set piece specialists undone from a set piece tomorrow if Yerry Mina can get a run at a header. But if they can be forced back, England can win the game.
Yeah. Where'll you watch that England game?
Oh, in my little office here with the shirts back. The shirts in my little World Cup wall chart. The England shirt there, the Uruguay shirt, the Brazil shirt. Peru and Argentina, both those shirts have come down. They've been eliminated. We've got Brazil and Uruguay at least till Friday. The England shirt may have to come down tomorrow, or it may stay for a little while yet.
Tim, that England shirt's not going anywhere. July 15th, that'll be up until surely. Okay, James, I take your point. He's fairly crucial. Have you been impressed with England for all the talk about them? I know it's
yeah. I mean, obviously, I discount the Belgium game.
Yeah.
But yes, the Tunisia game was difficult. I thought they managed it really well. But this one is a completely different game. It's psychologically, in terms of the level of opposition, it's completely different. But in the long term, I think Gareth Southgate has them moving on in the right directions. I'm going to be very interested to see how the back three lines up, because that back three defensively, it hasn't really been tested.
No.
How will it line up now against a side which, especially if James plays and is fit, pose a real attacking threat? And
do Colombia, last one, do they like to keep the ball? Are they a counter-attacking type team, high pressing?
No. Their worst, by far, their worst 45 minutes of football were the second half against Japan, where admittedly they were down to 10 men, and the first half against Senegal. Both times they were just kept right back in their own half.
Right.
If you can do that to them, you can render them ordinary.
Okay. Very good. Tim Vickery, pleasure. Thanks very much. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Cheers.
Football on Off the Ball,
in association with the faster than ever Boyle Sports app for exclusive price enhancements on the biggest games around. Download it now. Boyle Sports. Time to play.
Bruce Betting are one of Ireland's leading bookmakers. Download the iOS app today to see why Bruce Betting are giving you more for World Cup 2018. Bruce Betting, your World Cup bookmaker. In store, online, and now on your phone. Please gamble responsibly. See dunlewy.net.
Oi, fan owners! Sure you know time is money, so save both. Visit chill.ie for a quick quote. Chill Insurance Limited, trading as Chill Insurance, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
You're welcome back. Barry Clark on Twitter says, it gives me absolutely no pleasure to think or say this, but after watching some of the World Cup so far and the football being played, thank God we didn't get through. Our, and he has this in quotes, style would have been obliterated. It would have been embarrassing stuff from Baz in Longford. Yeah, I know what you mean. We certainly wouldn't have excited anybody, but I do think we might have been capable of getting into bank of 4, bank of 5 and sitting there and doing effectively what Russia did to Spain. Mightn't have been beyond us. And then the other weird thing is, at Euro 2016, especially against Sweden, to a degree against France until we just, I guess, went off a cliff in terms of tiredness, they managed to actually play some decent football. I don't know, was it that just the adrenaline of the tournament and the colour and the good pitches and everything just seemed to inspire them a little bit, certainly more than away trips to Georgia in October and qualifying do. But we actually played some decent stuff in Euro 2016. And then as soon as that was over, for the World Cup qualifiers, went right back to playing the turgid stuff we've become accustomed to. So, I don't know. I don't think it would have been Euro 2012 territory. I hope not, anyway. We'll never know, I suppose. Belgium, as mentioned, go through. They play Brazil. Roberto Martinez very, very happy a few minutes ago.
It was first the nightmare and now the dream.
Well, that's what happens in the World Cup. I think you get pushed in games. You have to congratulate Japan. I thought they were the perfect game. They were so solid, they frustrated us. Then they were clinical on the counter. And then all of a sudden it's a test of character, it's a test of the team. And you have to see the reaction of the subs coming on, the reaction of everyone wanting to get back into the side. And just to win the game 3-2 in a World Cup within 90 minutes, I think it tells you everything about this group of players.
Negative things in this match, of course, but at the end, this end could help the team for the next round.
Of course, but no negative things, believe me. Today, it was about getting through, and we did that. Today is a day to be very, very proud of this group of players. Everyone in Belgium, this is for them. Thank you for the support and keep believing. These players care and they want. It's not about, in the World Cup, sometimes you want to be perfect. In football and especially in knockout phase, it's about getting through and about winning. And the boys showed an incredible winning mentality today.
There we are. Let's bring in Pat Nevin. Hello, Pat Nevin.
How you doing? Good to hear that noise all the way over here. And today I'm in St. Petersburg. I've just arrived in the last few hours in time to that Belgium game there. I was in a place called Nizhny Novgorod. Yeah, that one.
Your Scottish accent's really nailed it there, Pat. Beautifully done.
Yeah, Aisha, I'm having a joke because the joke is it's Nizhny Novgorod. And no, I hadn't heard of it either before the World Cup. But it's a really nice place. What a really nice place. But what a real stinker of a game I got to watch there. That's two absolute stinkers I've managed to see in the tournament so far. But that one really took the biscuit.
You had Croatia, Denmark, did you?
Oh, yeah. It was awful. Okay. It was really, you kind of wanted both of them to get knocked out. Which is a real shame because they were my kind of dark horses, Croatia. But they had nothing to offer. It was really, and it just underlines that bottom half of the draw. I'm sure you've talked about it, but that bottom half of the draw, it could end up being Russia, Croatia, England, or Colombia, and Sweden or Switzerland, which is the other game I'm going to tomorrow here in St. Petersburg, Sweden, Switzerland. Yeah. Which could also be an utter stinker.
Yeah, that wouldn't entice me, I have to say.
So you look at that, and up the top end of the draw, you've got France, Uruguay, Brazil, Belgium. Every one of them, including Uruguay, who could win that tournament. Stunning.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, we've gone this far in the show without commenting on the fact that Spain are out, such as the amount going on. Brazil playing today, we talked to Tim Vickery about that, and then Belgium, Japan kind of took on a life of its own, as you can imagine. So, I'll give you the Spanish reaction first of all. Then Marca say, walking home, Spain without pace, without depth, without soul, without joy, with sterile domination. They fall on penalties against a basic Russia. Mundo Deportivo said maximum sentence. Spain said goodbye to the World Cup after 120 minutes with little play, no goals against inferior Russia. El Mundo say Spain lost in penalties against the worst host country in the history of the World Cup. It's a disastrous exit. in a way for an absurd tournament from the national team, groggy ever since the president, Luis Rubiales, debuted, that could be a Google Translate issue, in the job by guillotining the project. And El País say Spain go back a decade. Things went so badly for Spain during this turbulent World Cup, and they ended up condemning themselves. So I guess what the note to jump off on here on Spain might be, of their 1,107 passes, how many of them were actually of any use to anybody?
Probably about 200, which is roughly the number I think the Russians got. Honestly, we've talked about this many times, and many people do love the Spanish and the way they played football over the last decade or so. But to be honest, 25 minutes in, I'm thinking, I hope Russia win today, because that's boring, that's dull, that's unimaginative. Every pass is just a pass for the sake of passing the ball. There isn't an idea or an intensity about it. They're just doing it. It seemed like show, and not only bored, actually getting a wee bit annoyed, because those guys can all play. They're brilliant. Then you don't use Iniesta, which annoyed me slightly, but I know I've got a bias in that area. I think how he is the one that will always turn and try and play a forward pass. But it's very, very upsetting to watch them do what they did and realise, no, if that's nothing like what Spanish football was. Tiki-taka was fast, it was intelligent, it was third man moving, it was all that stuff. Just the stuff you read out there from Marca. Exactly that. They've nailed it. And it's just none of that was there. However, I'm not going to be so quick to blame the losing the manager. I don't think that's it. I think it may well be that team's just got a bit old and a bit tired, and they probably need to move on now.
Because I did want to ask you for your interpretation of what we saw. Was it that it was almost a certain arrogance? Like, if we just keep doing this, even though it's not our best stuff, even though it's not quite what we were doing 3, 4, 5 years ago, if we just keep passing around, something will open up. Or was it not so much arrogance and almost that this team had somehow run out of ideas? I couldn't quite decide between the two. We did see them move the ball, I thought, very well at times against Portugal, no?
Yeah, but how quickly? I mean, okay, to win a tournament, you need to do that for 5, 6, 7 games. You can have the odd down game. But they've had more than that. If you look at the whole, the way the tournaments went for them, it's not been a good tournament. There's hardly been a really good game in the tournament for them. And that's to take nothing away from the fact that they have got extraordinarily good individual players. But even just the concept of Diego Costa up front, and there is no way you play that tiki-taka 1,000 passes and expect your centre forward to keep on making 1,000 runs.
Yeah.
Because he must be an idiot if he does that. Because it just wasn't coming. And it was annoying me, even guys that we love, like David Silva, who I waxed lyrical about all the time. He spent his time, every first touch was back towards his own goal. You think, what are you doing that for? You're miles better than that. And it was quite upsetting to see, because, let's hope it's not the end of an era. Let's hope they've got other players coming through, and the other little things as well. They've lost so many opportunities from set pieces as well, but they never seem to go and make an effort at working at it.
Yeah.
They just think, oh, we'll be okay. And that stupid handball there, that stunk a wee bit of arrogance as well. My hand was up there. No, it wasn't. Look at it closely. Your hand was on the way down, and you stuck it back up again. It was very upsetting, because you want to see a great World Cup, you want to see the best players, but that's a team that nobody actually should have feared. And I actually think teams feared them more they gave them more respect than they should have had during this tournament. But like Germany, they were found out in the end by willingness, just hard work, and endeavour.
So, okay, there's a few interesting points, all centred around tiki-taka, that I want to kind of pull at the thread of. So, if Iniesta and his pomp and Xavi are on the pitch, it's a completely different game. Presumably, they're doing different things. So does that prove that tiki-taka ultimately is still going to be reliant on really almost once in a generation world-class players? That you won't just have the next generation being able to the tiki-taka itself is not the answer, I guess, is the point I'm making.
Well, and I think it adapted over the 10 years. It didn't stay the same over the 10 years. At the start of it, the way they were playing it, You know, it was just so new to everyone else, and it was confused the living daylights of everybody, and nobody knew how to deal with it.
Sure.
And then it had to adapt, because sometimes it became a little bit more direct, you know, and of course we're talking Barca and we're talking Spain here. So you have to add in the Messi factor when we're talking Barca as well. And there were times they had to change and adapt it. I mean, Jose Mourinho had an effect on it when he went to Real Madrid. He made them do something different, but that's fine. You need to adapt, you need to change, you need to evolve, and that's all good. But in the midst of it all, you always had Iniesta. You usually had Xavi as well. And that third man run that you talk about, when he plays the brilliant ball and he's already 3 passes ahead, knowing where he needs to move, and he gets there, or he knows where everyone else is going to move. Now, it goes to that simple thing. If the centre forward, whoever it is, wouldn't it be the case now? Not A, do they have the ability of them to? Probably not, apart from Silva. But B, maybe bigger than that. Are they looking for every single one of those balls? Because Xavi and Iniesta were always looking for that ball. Their first look was always forward. And if it's not on, don't worry, we'll move it, we'll play it. And I was sitting beside one of the commentators I was working with, and I said to him, do not look at Spain just now. Look at the Russians and look how hard they're working. And he took out, a minute later, he said, they're not working hard. And I said, exactly. They're not working hard. They're not having to work hard. They're just going to cross the line, and they're crossing the line. They're not actually killing themselves just now. Yeah. So it looks as if 1,000 passes against 200 passes, oh, you must be exhausted chasing the ball. They weren't even chasing the ball. They were just going into edges and cutting it off. So in every way imaginable, they played tiki-taka the wrong way, or that version of it the wrong way. And maybe you just need new life.
Yeah. So effectively, they played tiki-taka how me and my mates might play tiki-taka at 5-a-side and think that we're playing tiki-taka.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Without the genius bit at the end, and without the zippy pace. I mean, always, the reason why as an ex-player you think, oh, what do you know? You never played against that. Actually, I played against Liverpool quite a few times when they were their very, very best. And classically, we always said the same thing. Don't give them a ball, you ain't getting it back for 10 minutes. And it wasn't slow passing and you were walking about. You worked your socks off, chasing down, closing down. They were trying to create spaces, guys were running beyond you all the time. And it was constant concentration and constant hard work. So it wasn't exactly the same thing, but the same concept was there.
Yeah.
You lose the ball, they'll make you work, because a ball being passed is easy to pass. Chasing a pass ball is really, really hard. Not complicated stuff. Whereas you watch Spain the other night there, it was easy to play against. It wasn't exhausting at all.
Yeah. It's kind of surprising, really, that they would have reverted back to what we saw yesterday, isn't it? Like, what you're saying, I'm sure, is massively, massively complicated to put into effect, no doubt. But as a basic concept, it's not that ungraspable to think, well, you're going to actually have to move around a bit off the ball and make some runs and go between the lines a little bit and you know, third man runs, we're going to need to see them. Like, all of that would seem to me fairly self-explanatory, and yet somehow they strolled out against Russia and didn't do that, which almost leads me back to arrogance. I mean, we'll never quite know.
Well, A, arrogance, or B, the types of players that you've got there, although very, very talented, that's not what their talent is.
Yeah.
Their talent's something else. And so they're, you know, it's a square peg round hole. They're trying to play that system that suited a different style of player, and it's just wrong. I mean, Diego Costa, nothing against him. He will try and do all the right things. He's the wrong guy for that system. 100%, he's the wrong guy for that system. You need somebody who's totally different, who can play false 10 a lot of the time, drag people out of the way. But that's not Diego's about. Diego's about getting the ball, hustle and bustle, dragging 2 players around you, trying to turn people. I mean, the antithesis of what they were trying to do. And that's just one player for one example. There was plenty of them out there that were really, really similar. And all very, very good players. I'm not saying they're not good players. It's just not a style that seemed to suit them. And they didn't. Whereas in the past, the guy that would drag it all together would be Iniesta, who would say, no, adapt this, change this, move this. This is where we go. This is how you do it. Yeah. He's sitting on the bench for the vast majority of the game. So it's not going to happen. But it's 60-odd minutes, I think, he came on. So by that time, the Russians have got, you know, they've got a belief that they actually can hold out. And of course, by that time also, the Russians, I'm sure you've watched the stats, they're running as much, if not more, than any other team in the league, so in the competition. So they are very fit. They might not be talented, but they're very, very fit. I'm not convinced the Spanish are.
Yeah.
They are A, older, and B, tired after an incredibly hard season, and they can't do that to the end of the game.
Your last point maybe highlights the genius of Iniesta, that he can orchestrate all this so brilliantly. Yeah. So whatever the reasons, Spain are gone, and it's going to be really interesting to see what approach they bring in 2 years' time. We'll get to that, no doubt. France are still here. I've touched on the Argentinian angle and side of things with Tim Vickery already. I know you really like France. I certainly think they can grow into this tournament and really do something. So, I mean, it was kind of thrilling, wasn't it? I mean, it was one of the real joys of this World Cup to watch Kylian Mbappe just flourish and explode and run 77 metres to win the penalty, and kind of realise, it must have been fun for him to realise this, and to realise, geez, I can do it at this level, no problem too.
Yeah, I was talking to Tim after the game, and everyone was talking about, Mbappe was fantastic and the 2 goals and all that, but you have nailed it there. My thought was, it was that 70-yard run. That was it. That was the moment. Everything changed there. The entire game changed there. His career changed there. He got the ball, as we know. We watched it. He just shredded an entire team by doing that. And the whole game is, they've got a game plan to try and close up quite high early on in Argentina. They're not doing that after that. No chance. Not a hope. Their entire team down has two options now. Only 2 options. Kick the living daylights out of Mbappe because you ain't going to catch him. And they did that. Still didn't work. And the other one is just to try and drop back and try and mob him a little bit. And that wasn't working either. So it was a great moment. And they told us when the book people talk about pace. Everybody's seen players with pace. This is something totally different, isn't it? And again, look at the stats again, and you see that Ronaldo was the quickest player in the tournament so far. Right. 34k, I think, 34 kilometres an hour. That's the hilariousness of stats. He's probably done that over 10 yards once. Yeah. Look what Mbappe's doing. His pace, he's going over 70 yards. That's different. And it's not against, obviously, Ronaldo. At his time, he was the very, very best, and he still is fantastic. But it just seemed like the dawning of something fabulous. We know. And talk about Tim Vickery, I'm sure you've chatted to Julien Laurent a few times as well. And he's been telling me for a long, long time about this kid. And I've been, every time I get a chance to look at him, I look at him. And now and again in games, and I'm sure any of us, I mean, most people who listen to Off the Ball, we're football nuts and we're sports nuts, and they know who Mbappe is, and they've watched him a bit. And there have been a few games that I've seen him over the last couple of years, and he has done that for the pace. And you've just went, whoa, it's steady on there, mate. You can't do that. That's just like cheating. He's so far ahead of everyone else. And the biggest joy of him is he's intelligent enough, he seems sensible enough. He does a couple of technical things that I adore, which is the amount of times we've said to these quick players, someone like Theo Walcott, to some degree, Sterling used to be all that as well. Do you know when you buy them? Slow down. Yeah. Calm down. Get yourself under control. And then you watch Mbappe, and he doesn't need to slow down. He can still do it at that pace. And that's really unusual. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it only dawned on me on about the 3rd or 4th replay of the 77-yard run when he goes by Rojo for the penalty. It really wasn't the replay where I was like, God, the quality of his touch around Rojo here at that speed, like you can imagine the noise of the stadium, the adrenaline in him, like just the madness of that moment. But his touch around Rojo is really, really good. Those 2 or 3 touches around him are fantastically good at that speed. And that's the thing that really jumps out to me as well, because I've seen plenty of good players. We mentioned those 2 there. Sterling's getting a little bit better now. He can't do it at that speed. He needs to slow down. The vast majority of players you'll ever see that go at that sort of speed, and these are stunning speeds for footballers, they still need to slow down. But 1 or 2 don't. And he, at that age, 19, he's already shown that he can do it. Now, I've only got one fear for him just now. He's going to be world class. He is world class already, but he's going to be a phenomenon. But I hope he doesn't lose that pace through being kicked, etc. Because he's been bashed about a bit already in this World Cup. And I actually think the Argentinians got away with quite a bit. And look who's playing against next. It's Uruguay. Of course, they're not going to lay off him. No. You can imagine go down saying, you carry on. Yeah. You go. So, you need to, without, wrapping them up and calling, well, do us a favour. Don't let them get thumped all over the place, because that's the thing that will slow them down and stop them being a great. Yeah, that's a fair point. And France generally then, did you look on and think to yourself, I'm feeling better about these and they're growing into this tournament? Yeah, and I think they're believing in themselves now. And one of the big ones is, of course, you look at the team now and you pick the team in your head. it's just about, what their best team is really. One or two changes, you question whether the right back or left back or whatever. But generally, the centre of the team just about picks itself. The strikers, Giroud's doing the right job up there, making masses of space. It now looks right with, the three behind them now. Whereas, it wasn't looking right beforehand when Giroud wasn't there and it was the three attackers and you didn't know who was going to be up front. Was it going to be Griezmann? It just looked unbalanced. It's now balanced and it looks right. And if you're playing against it, it's really difficult to know what to do. And I'm sure everyone who was watching, there was wee moments when Pogba started doing that sort of Colossus bit that he can do now and again, striding away from people 2 and 3 at a time. There's so much more to come for that guy. I don't think it's coming yet, but if he could really bring a bit more, then you've got him and Kante in the midfield, and that's just a nightmare to play against. So yeah, all over the place. And I don't know about you, but I'm sure you'll have votes about it. But I'm giving my goal of the season goal of the competition to Pavard, the right back.
Oh yeah,
that ping with the outside of his boot. There was one early in the tournament in the first game,
the Portugal game.
The shinner.
The shinner. Thank you.
It was just a shinner.
Listen,
goal.
the amount of people who've told me I'm an idiot for saying thank you. There we go.
It's a shinner. It is not a great goal.
Oh, listen. Where were you in my life 2 weeks ago? God, Jesus. The heartache you could have saved me.
Could have done. You should give us a call.
I didn't know.
Honestly, well, by the way, me and you both, I was getting it elsewhere. I was saying to people, look, it's very good and it looks good, but it's not even the best goal in the game.
Yeah.
What? And I was saying, he didn't mean it. Diego Maradona couldn't shoot from 25 yards with his shin, never mind the right back. So don't kid yourselves. However, that one...
Yeah, that was clean.
Pavard's one, that was clean. It was pinged. He actually came across it to give I was going to say Louis, the spin on it, we call it Louis. Yeah. And it was absolutely a thing of great beauty. So... you and me alone on that.
Listen, I'm thrilled. Actually, I'm gonna skip home having heard this news. There's a few people I need to text. Actually,
get on to them. Well, I met up with Kilban the other day. Kevin,
what kind of state is he in?
He's in great nick. Actually, he's chirpy, he's lively, and considering what it's like over here, I don't know. Have you talked to him much? Have you asked him about his passport?
Oh yeah. No, that's all. That's the thing. Yeah. Former Prime Minister of the country was on the case. Believe it or not.
Oh no, but I'm talking about the second passport, the one after that.
Oh no, I haven't heard that. He hasn't lost that too, has he?
He nearly lost that one.
Yeah.
Mental. And he was chasing after it, and anyway. But I think, like myself, I think he's been. We're very open about new cultures. We're loving seeing the cultures. Every place I go to, and that one yesterday was there for 3-4 days, and Nizhny is absolutely brilliant. It is an absolutely beautiful place. The people are cool. Everywhere I go, I'm absolutely bowled over, but it's great. Except for tonight out there in St. Petersburg, it is freezing and it is bucketing with rain. So after all this, nearly 3 weeks of brilliance, first day it's been bad, but it's a small complaint.
And have you been in Petersburg already? Because
I've been there once before. I don't know if I mentioned to you. I was telling Kev about it. Oddly enough, he seemed quite interested when I told him this is hipster central. You've got the biggest places in the world for like hipsters, like Brooklyn and New York and Shoreditch and London and Berlin. Add St. Petersburg, by the way. It's a really cool. They're not quite getting it right. They're missing big bits of it. But they're seriously into this whole hipster thing, and it is hilarious. And it's cool as well. It's an enjoyable thing, and it's a brilliant place to visit. Again, anybody out there, if anyone suggests you to go to St. Petersburg, just go. It's got some phenomenal things there.
Yeah, I've heard great things about St. Petersburg over the last number of days, actually. Okay, great stuff. I was going to ask you about the Neymar stuff today, but we've already done it with Tim, and it's just so terrible. It's just like he just needs to kick up the ass. God love him when he actually gets hurt someday.
Yeah, but one last thing about the Brazil game. The last time I was chatting to you about Brazil, I've been to see them twice already in the tournament, and I will be seeing them in their next game. And I was getting very, very frustrated them going down the left all the time and not getting the ball to Willian. As soon as they get the ball to Willian tonight, opens the whole thing, makes Neymar, gives him more space.
Yeah.
It was really infuriating me. Now that they've started doing that, they're looking pretty scary as well.
Very good as well. Okay. Listen, super stuff. Appreciate you making time for us again. Thanks a million, Pat. Good luck.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
I've got everything in front of me. So I think I have it. It took me a while to get there.
Okay.
A few of the lads in there earlier on, but I think I've got it. Yeah. The league split up into 4 different leagues: League A, B, C, and D. If you win a group, you automatically get into a playoff for Euro 2020 by winning a group.
What?
Yeah. So if you win your group, so if we had, say, Wales and Northern Ireland, we then I think it comes down to, so if we win League B,
yeah,
and now not necessarily B, if say you win all the games, potentially that gives you the chance you've topped that group. That's how it would work.
So basically the top 4 teams in each league, so the one from each group, will go forward to the playoffs, assuming they haven't qualified for Euro 2020 via their actual qualifying group.
But regardless of anything, Joe,
not like you can break water.
At the end of it, if you top your league, you go into you'll hit then the playoff system. The overall to go to win the overall winner, which will be League A, B, C, and D.
Yeah.
If then, as I said before, if you win that league, you automatically then qualify. Hit the playoff for the Euros. That's what you get.
When you say winning the league, what do you mean?
You win the League B.
You get one from pot 1, one from pot 3, and it's a 3-team group, and you play them each home and away, and you got 4 games, and then if we win our league, we get promoted to League A.
I don't understand. So if we win our little group with the other 2 teams, let's say it's
no, not necessarily that. If you win your league,
I was going to say. So if we win our league, say we've Northern Ireland and Wales, and we come out of that group.
Say you win all 4 games. That's the way that you can maybe explain it a little bit. But if you win all 4 games, you give yourself a great chance of winning the league, because it's going to come down to goal difference and everything will probably.
So what do you have to do to win your league? I get we have a little group within a league. What do you have to do to win the league? To win League B? You don't know. No, that's fine. You don't know.
Yeah, you've killed me there.
No, that's fine.
Let's not go into that.
No, you screwed up.
Off the Ball on News Talk.
I hear you some wiring needs a fixing, ma'am. The name's Buzz, on account of my work.
No chance.
Not all cowboys ride horses. If they're not a safe electric registered electrical contractor, you're putting yourself at risk and they're breaking the law. Find one nearby on safeelectric.ie.
Every ultimate experience Ireland has to offer is always within reach with a 182 BMW. The ultimate bowl of chowder, seasoned with Atlantic salt air, the ultimate swim spot, even the ultimate scenic shortcut that happily takes way, way longer. Experience the ultimate with a 24-hour test drive from your local BMW retailer. Because owning your new BMW is always within reach. Visit bmw182.ie.
Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
Welcome back. So we're pretty much done for this evening. We will podcast all of the best stuff from the show. We had the Cork manager John Myler on earlier on. We also spoke to Shane McGrath about the 2 games, and we had Billy Joe Padden talking about Mayo Kildare, where next for both sides. Obviously that's more of a long-term issue for Mayo at the moment. And we had Dr. Ross Tucker on as well, giving his verdict on the Chris Froome story. Chris Froome cleared of all charges after he was found with double the level of salbutamol in his system last year, and now very much free to compete on the tour, which starts on Saturday. So that's all to come, and you can podcast all those things in the usual places. Offtheball.com is where you'll get them for sure, and then just search the various sections on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you get your podcasts. We're pretty much done for tonight. OTBAM live 7:45 a.m. tomorrow. Get onto youtube.com/offtheball or facebook.com/offtheball, or else just follow us on Twitter @offtheball and you'll be able to watch it all. I know Owen Ger tomorrow will be talking to Matt Lawton about the Chris Froome situation, the UCI and the future for anti-doping. And then there's World Cup Daily as well with Owen Sheehan live from midday. Again, it's on all our social channels. And we are live tomorrow night. Rishtard Cooper in studio, more reaction to the weekend's GAA. And of course, England against Colombia is on tomorrow night from 7 o'clock. So, well, that's going to be fun and games, whatever way it goes. Tom Dunn is on the way next. We'll see you tomorrow. Good luck.